Formula 5000s. These are the genuine cars from the era. They've been a welcome addition and a return to racing here in many, many years. They were demonstration runs a couple of years ago, but this is a genuine competition round this time round.
They're so exciting to watch. They're loud, they're fast. There's some of the history and heritage with these cars is something.
You line up on the position. That will be a rolling start, as we know with these cars from earlier today. We've got a couple of onboard cameras and the genuine gauges on these cars that are all the same ones from back in the era, but running on the Avon tyres, which have proved to be very durable for this series, and most of the teams are getting pretty much a full season out of a set of tyres if you look after them right.
Hard to believe when they've got so much horsepower, not a whole lot of downforce, and all that power going through those rear tyres. You'd think that be pretty much toast by the end of the weekend.
Away they go. There's Aaron Burson in car number 1. The Talon MR1 going through the shot. There's a McLaren with the high wing going through the shot as well of Tony Roberts. Look at that car up close and personal in the paddock here on Thursday when we arrived. And it was really cool this year to go to the Indianapolis 500 and see a McLaren running there in its traditional colours there in the hands of Fernando Alonso that day. Wouldn't be motorsport without a McLaren, a bit like Ferrari, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You know, being a Kiwi and seeing what Bruce McLaren managed to achieve throughout his career is yeah, really impressive. And to see those cars out there today, especially with that iconic high wing, is amazing to see.
Now, you had a taste of the F5000 car, the new gen cars that we're looking to debut in the future as part of the Virgin Australia Supercars Championship. So whet your appetite. Are you pumped? Are you convinced?
Definitely exciting to drive. That's for sure. I haven't driven a single seater now for quite a few years, since 2005, and to be in a car like that with wing slicks and 650 horsepower strapped in behind you, it's a recipe for excitement, that's for sure.
They're loud. They've got sparks. They have flames on the overrun into the corners. They tick all the 3 boxes that, if I could put my race fan hat on, is what the things we like to see in motorsport. So through they come. They'll get 2 form-up laps for this race. There's the Magnum Wheels entry going through the shot of David Banks. And here's our winner from earlier today, Clark Proctor, a car that you're pretty familiar with.
Yeah, it's a cool car. I had a good look at that a couple of years ago. Looks like they've done a lot of work to it, tidied it up a lot as well. Really focusing now on getting as much temp in the tyres as they can. Obviously getting 2 formation laps here. It's going to make a big difference come the start. These guys have got lots of opportunity now to get the tyres right up to temp. So nice and gripped up before they take the green flag.
It's that Magnum Wheels car I talked about. Johnny Walker won the Australian Grand Prix in that back in the late 70s. Now it's Carl Zoss at the back of the field in car number 9, taking his position. These guys were due to race yesterday, and the wet weather conditions just put an end to that. It was just too treacherous for these cars. I mean, they've got a bit of aero, but probably not enough to keep these cars glued down to the track in those kind of conditions.
Yeah, it would have been crazy going out there and potentially aquaplaning in those conditions. Would have been fun for anyone.
So race results from earlier today will set the grid. Clark Proctor and Mike Collins on the front row. Andy Higgins and Grant Martin on the second row. Glenn Richards and Aaron Burson in car number 1 will start on the 3rd row. Brett Willis, defending champion in the SAS Auto Parts Series, starts out of 7 alongside Tony Roberts and that beautiful McLaren. Kerry McIntosh is in the field alongside David Banks, who'll carry one of our onboard cameras. And David Arrowsmith and Carl Zoss towards the back of this 14-car field in the rows of 2. You can feel the rumble coming through our floor in the commentary box to imagine what it's like outside here right now. We've been excited to have this category as part of the ITM Auckland Super Sprint. The cars of the 60s and 70s that wowed so many fans in Australia and New Zealand coming towards the start for 14 laps around this Pukekohe Park circuit, the scene of many New Zealand Grand Prix over the years. It's time to turn back the clock and turn up the volume, because the green flag is about to wave in the final race of the Formula 5000 that we're underway here at Pukekohe Park. Brilliant start from the front row. It's going to be Proctor who will grab the lead into turn number 1. There's the big high-wing McLaren going around the outside. He should get that pass done by the time we get down into the S's, or maybe not.
Just slotted into the line there. Important to get onto the racing line, get a good run onto the back straight. A little bit of curb there on the exit.
Down towards turn 5 they go for the first time. That was Banks on board with. Further back in the field, he got those aggressive sawtooth curves on the exit at turn 4. Tony Roberts in the number 7 McLaren into turn 6. And everybody through nicely. But these two guys, they've checked out of here.
Look like they're pushing on fairly hard on this opening lap. Collins is running with Proctor at the moment.
Beautiful March 73 will lead us through at the end of lap number 1. There's Aaron Burson in the Talon MR1. Across the top, just easy on the throttle on the first lap. Across the top, past the big crowd here at Pukekohe Park. Feel the rumble as they come past at the end of lap number 1. First flying lap of 106.17. That'll get quicker yet.
Yeah, definitely this tyre pressure will still be building. The guys will be getting more confidence as that grip rises. Once they get a couple of clear laps in, I'm sure we're going to see that time drop considerably yet.
Here comes the 16 of Brett Willis, defending champion in the Lola T330. It's the car that Carl Haas owned back in the 70s when he was a Lola distributor. We all know that name from IndyCar racing over in the USA. He's up to 7th position. And they're chasing Aaron Burson. There he is in that red number 1 car. And the idea of this series is the teams are encouraged to keep the exact liveries of how they run back in the day.
It's very cool to see, even with the names of the original drivers on the side of the cars.
There is Tony Roberts, car number 7, the McLaren, going through. Finished another lap, built back in 1969. About 650 horsepower and about 650 kilos. How do you like that for power to weight?
That's what we all want, I think. With that said too, very easy to overheat the rear tyres because they don't have a lot of rear downforce. You know, you're putting a lot of horsepower through the tyre to the ground, and you get a little bit excited early on. You can see those rear tyres fade towards the end of the race.
So first two cars have got a big margin now, Chris. It's out to nearly 5 seconds. As Proctor and Mike Collins in car 27. Car that was sold to Chris Lambden. We all know that name. He raced it back early in the era. Sort of joint ownership now between Collins and Alistair Hay from Motorsport Solutions, who've restored this car and kept it in good condition over the years. As down to turn 1. He's starting to apply the pressure. It's less than half a second going down to the S's.
Yeah, it looks like Collins is really making a push here. The car was a little bit unstable on the entry to Husqvarna Hairpin on the last lap. Proctor's looking at his mirrors, going defensive.
His head's tilted hard right. Is that a bit too defensive, you think? Right to the middle. They're coming up to Carl Zoss to put him a lap down. So dramas with car number 9 early in the race. In fact, he hits the grass to let these guys go through, or does he? No, he's still on the inside line, but they held him up for a couple of seconds. And the number 4 now coming to a stop. That's Andrew Higgins. I saw that car limping past the start-finish line. And the Lola T332 has finished up for the day. Here come the leaders, 4 laps in, and they continue to pull away. It's a great battle. This will be hard to do for the car doing the chasing right now. Staying in that aero wash would be difficult.
Yeah, Collins again, quite aggressive off the hairpin. It looks like he's asking a bit more or using a bit more of his tyre. He gets a run down the front straight. He's gone wide slightly at turn 1. Gets back to the apex just.
Now, Proctor gave him enough room to get the job done rather than tangling up and going off the racetrack down into a very fast right-hander. They've ironed out some of these bumps, but they're still there for the supercars. These cars would fill it more than any car out there.
They certainly would. They're low to the ground. Probably at high speed, they'd definitely be bottoming out. We've seen another challenge for position here.
It's the 9th and 10th position battle between Peter Burson and Aerosmith in car 67. That's a real racing name, isn't it? Aerosmith. Just works with the era of these cars. Nice 3-car scrap going on for the minor positions. As we're on lap 5. Blink and you miss it in the SAS Auto Parts Formula 5000 series.
McLaren in the background looked like he closed up through the first sector there. Just dropped slightly onto the back straight. Waiting for the opportunity.
Lotus got the pass done down there at turn number 5. And back at Willis in the 16. Carrying one of our on-board cameras, and right on cue, we'll jump on board. This will be talking about the bumps into turn number 1. Did you notice that in the car you drove earlier today?
Certainly did. I think it was on the deck along the front straight. I'm sure there would have been sparks coming out of the back of it, but you know, these cars, you're basically sitting on the floor pan of the car, so you feel every little bump through the bottom of the seat.
And that's David Banks, who's come to a stop in the window box, and that shot down on the old part of the circuit. They used to race on back in the New Zealand Grand Prix days. Willis under attack here now, going into the final turn by Richards. And here comes Aaron Burson. Father and son duo out there. A couple of them happening in Formula 5000 in this year's series. Going down to turn number 1. Look at the ground clearance, or lack thereof, for car 39 as it just skates along. This is the pass for the lead down there by Mike Collins, a former 3-time Formula 4 champion from the South Island here in New Zealand.
Just initially there, it looked like he got a little bit of understeer. The front washed slightly wide, but he managed to get it back to the apex, which was crucial for his run through turns 3 and 4. It looks like we've got a problem here on board with David Banks. Struggling to get a gear by the sounds of it.
Let's have a listen to pulls up. And he recognised he had an issue, and that'd be hard work going through the tyre chicane down there. What a shame for the Magnum Wheels entry. Strong show in the first race, and now a change of position at the front. As the 39 of Clark Proctor has gone back to the lead. And now Collins will have to do all the chasing once again.
Yeah, Collins was pushing extremely hard there, even once he got by Proctor. Looked a touch wide onto the back straight. Wonder if there's been a slight mistake in giving Proctor the opportunity to get by. But Collins is still coming back at him. Plenty of speed on with another 27.
Oh, he's held up by a lap car as well, and that's just given him a free kick, hasn't it?
Certainly has. That's just bad luck on Proctor's part. He's waving him by there to the right. He knows he's got more speed.
Just trading the lead at the moment, so Collins goes back into it. He's raced in open wheelers for many years, but it's without wins in Formula Ford racing. Once the hairpin we go again, so first and second. It's out to 20 seconds now, Chris Pither. This is incredible.
There we go, Proctor, Collins slightly high there. Proctor slotted through the inside. These guys are certainly putting on a show for us.
Across the top of the mountain and to the finish line at the end of lap number 8. It's a 14-lap race for the Formula 5000s here. Their final appearance today at the ITM Auckland Super Sprint. We continue our countdown to race 24 of the Virgin Australia Supercars Championship this afternoon. Usually in a battle though, Chris, you'd be losing time. These guys are actually extending their lead by doing this.
Yeah, exactly. They've got heaps of pace. When they're making the pass, they don't seem to be compromising the corner speed too much. At this point, though, you'd be analysing the other driver's strengths and weaknesses, trying to work out for later in the race where you might get an opportunity or where you might need to be defensive, depending on where you're positioned. So they'll just be sizing each other up for when it counts.
Go back to the battle between 3rd and 4th position, 20 seconds behind the lead group, and this could be a change of position now as the reigning champion. No, he won't do it there. Brett Willis will be right on board with now.
He's positioned himself well here, slightly wider. He should get a better exit. Doesn't quite get there though.
Doesn't look like it's revving that hard out of the corners, does it?
No,
except there.
Looked like he was quite relaxed with that sector, just waiting for the right opportunity.
At the 25 of Martin. Push on through another one of the Talon MR1 chassis, built back in the mid-70s. Had some great names drive this car. Walter Wolf, the late Chris Amon, and later on was driven by the late, very sadly missed Gilles Villeneuve. Let's go for a lap with Brett Willis.
sounds amazing. He picked up the throttle just a touch early between turns 3 and 4, and he had to lift down of it again and didn't get quite as good a run down the back straight, but definitely at the top end. I think if he's closer on the next lap, he'll be able to challenge for the position.
He's gentle on the gear change, wasn't he? Full lap of this 2.9 kilometre circuit at Pukekohe Park. Through the closing stages of the SAS Auto Parts Formula 5000 series. Even kept the old school helmet, or the visor at least anyway from back in the day, keeping with the orange livery.
I love that. He's actually closer on this lap. I reckon he's got a bit more top end. Good challenge for position into turn 5. He's looking and thinking about it, but not quite close enough.
Great scrap. This is for 3rd and 4th place. Collins continues. It's gone back into the lead. What's been going on? Watching 3rd and 4th on the circuit now. Tony Roberts further down the field has moved up another position on Glenn Richards. There's your leaderboard heading down into the final stages of this race. Here is the Tony Roberts McLaren and a 3-car battle heading down.
I'm just having a look at the fastest laps by both of the lead cars. I think they were only 6,000ths of a second different. These guys have been so close all weekend. Clark Proctor looks to the inside. Collins gives him some space. But again, yeah, he lights up the rear tyres there.
Now we've got another change of the lead happening here at the hairpin. As now Proctor retakes the lead. On lap 12, Collins snaps it sideways. They put Tony Roberts' car a lap down there in car 7, the McLaren. Right around the back of this Pukekohe Park circuit and to the finish line we go. There'll be 2 laps to go. And where would you rather be right now, leading or second?
I think second's not a bad place to be in. I think Collins, as we touched on before, he'll know where he's got his strengths there. If he's nice and close with a lap or so to go, he'll be able to try and mount an attack on that final lap.
You can hear the bottom of the 39 car just scuffing along the ground, going into turn number 1. He's got the lead, and the margin's the biggest it's been, as we've got a couple of casualties now back in the pits. Glenn Richards has retired from the race. Same too for Carl Zos. Troublesome weekend for the number 9 car. Not so for these two, as they're now 24 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, coming down towards the hairpin and more lap traffic ahead.
That's really going to play a part here. They're going to catch that traffic on the next lap.
Just the update on the 9 and the 99, guys. The 99's got an engine issue, losing power at the top end, and as for the 9, he actually is getting a bit of vertigo as a driver.
Wow. It's been a tough weekend, Carl Zos, thanks to Cameron Vanendungen down in the pits. I'm sure he's enjoying the vibration, the sound of these Formula 5000 cars as we start the final lap here in the SAS Auto Parts Formula 5000 series. It's been a great weekend. Sad we didn't get the race in yesterday, but they've given us 2 very exciting races and a chance to go back in time and witness a really great era in not just New Zealand motorsport, but in world motorsport.
No doubt about it. Proctor's actually opened up the gap slightly there. He was a bit lucky with his the timing of that lap traffic, managed to clear them nice and early into turn 1. Oh, nearly lost the rear here at 5. I thought that might have gone around, but he's managed to hang on to it.
Don't you hate commentary curses? We all get it. They go past the Banks car that's been parked there for quite some time. But Clark Proctor and Collins have put on a fantastic show here today. They've traded the race lead on several occasions. And now the 59-year-old is going to go back-to-back in this weekend's round of the Formula 5000s. He finished second in the 2013 series, and that will be enough to give him the series lead at the end of round number 1. He picks up the win in the final race here today.
This battle still goes on. Needed to get a good X out of the Husqvarna hairpin to have any opportunity to the start-finish line to mount a pass. Back slightly too far at this point.
They'll just hold down that 3rd position. Another great battle went race long. Going to Martin ahead of Willis, the defending champion. in this category. I know there's points on the line here, but just seeing these cars out on the circuit, it's just something special as Aaron Burson comes across the line there in 5th position. And Aerosmith got up to 6th place in the end there. And there is the number 50 car of David Banks. His race ended early toward that Magnum Wheels entry in the exact livery that it ran some 30 years ago, just tapping away on the steering wheel. Is that frustration, or maybe staying a bit warm inside the cockpit? How about this guy? He's plenty happy, and well, why not? Clark Proctor, the winner here today. Thoroughly enjoyed that racing today, Chris. Fantastic.
It was exciting to watch. Collins and Proctor really put on a show out in front there. It was awesome to see those driving those cars on the absolute limit the whole time.
And there is your results. They were 26 seconds ahead of Grant Martin, and they had Willis in 4th, Burson in 5th, and the field behind them going a lap down. Kerry McIntosh went 2 laps down, and a couple of retirees to finish up. Race number 3 of the SAS Auto Parts Formula 5000 here at Pookie. Let's take a look.